Well, this next segment is something I usually refuse to speak about. I've done my best to avoid it all week, but I'm making an exception simply because my next guest is exceptional. Joining me from London is Royal Editor at TalkTV, Sarah Hewson. Sarah, thank you for joining me on Credlin. I try and avoid the subject of Meghan and Harry, but their Woe Is Us docu-series is about to drop on Netflix in a couple of minutes. Let's have a look at the trailer before I get your views.
I wonder what would have happened to us had we not gone out when we did.
Our security was being pulled. Everyone in the world knew where we were.
I said, we need to get out of here. We are on the Freedom Flight. To see this institutional gaslighting.
I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
They were actively recruiting people to disseminate disinformation.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
The rogue royals.
They just wanted to be free. They wanted to be free to love and be happy. I applauded that.
In order for us to be able to move to the next chapter, you got to finish the first chapter.
It gave us a chance to create that home that we had always wanted.
I've always felt as though this was a fight worth fighting for.
Well, Sarah, that's as much as I can stomach. I will not be watching any more of it. But from the looks of that trailer, they've got some more explosive stuff still to come. What's going on here? Who is pushing this?
Yeah, you're right, Corey. I've got 3 hours to sit through in the next few minutes. Look, the first 3 installments, I think, would have had the palace breathing a sigh of relief because they weren't as explosive as had been predicted. But they've really upped the ante with the trailers for the next 3. And I think there's a reason behind that because they need to keep audiences with this. The headlines, the response here in Britain was pretty much as you'd have expected and they'd have expected, relatively cynical, hostile in parts. But that's not what this is about. This is about building a global brand and in particular targeting that US audience. And there are signs that even in the US, they're beginning to tire of this narrative. The glossy Hollywood Bible Variety magazine, which only a few weeks ago featured a big magazine interview and photo shoot with Meghan, has described them as being unimaginative and pinched. They were mocked on Saturday Night Live. The radio host Howard Stern has described them as being like the Kardashians, but boring. In terms of ratings, I think Netflix will be pleased. It is their biggest documentary streamed in its first week ever, and we'll have to see how this one delivers. But certainly the claims, the accusations are getting more and more direct at the palace for deliberately leaking stories about Meghan to protect other members of the family, namely Prince William.
How humiliating. Like the Kardashians, but boring. This pair have fallen out with everyone, and so that's all I want to talk about them. But I will talk about, I'm a big fan of the royal family, and William and Kate in particular I think are terrific. They've released a family photo for their Christmas card. The King and the Queen did the same earlier this week. But I have seen some talk online that Kate was wearing jeans in the photo, and that could be a message to Meghan. Now, it seems that royal family are carrying on with their lives as normal. Are they just trying to ignore the whole thing?
Yeah, a quick word on the jeans. I think that's a nod to Meghan talking about the first time she met William and Kate. She was in ripped jeans and bare feet, and she commented on how formal the then Cambridges, now Waleses, were. This is them being less formal, although if we'd seen Kate in a tiara and a full-length ball gown on a walk down a country lane, they'd have been criticised for that, wouldn't they, Corey? But they are getting on with it. Yesterday, the King was at Westminster Hall visiting the exact spot where the Queen was lying in state. Today, the royal family are going to be out in force. They're attending a carol service at Westminster Abbey, which is hosted by the Princess of Wales. I think they'd really like to be able to ignore this and maintain a dignified silence, but that just depends how deep the wounds inflicted by this documentary are and how damaging the accusations are seen to be.
Sarah, those who will be damaged by this will be the other two I will not speak of again on this show. Sarah Hewson, thank you for joining me on Credlin tonight. Really appreciate it.